Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal. Gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly when my heart with sorrow cries. Comfort and caress me, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Gray the windy storms, cold upon our cheeks, the wet rain glistens, glistens. Summer cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Leaping is the fire, golden in the glass, the cider glows like amber. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Gray the windy storms, cold upon our cheeks, the wet wind glistens, glistens. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Leaping is the fire, golden in the glass, the cider warms like amber. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Winter is upon us. Winter is upon us. Glorious the trees, golden in the glass, the cider glows like amber. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Autumn cold has turned the star wheel, winter is upon us. Winter is upon us.
Thank you, everybody. I know we're so friendly. I'm going to welcome you all back in now. In pagan traditions, which are generally earth-centered, calling into the different directions is a respectful way to begin a ceremony. Each direction is associated with both an aspect of nature as well as an aspect of human nature. What I see is truly an independent web. Facing east, I call to the energy of the east, of the morning sun, of the new day. Here lies the energy of spring and new beginnings. I call to the light that illuminates us all. Let there be light in our words and deeds. Let there be light on the paths that we walk. Facing the south, I call to the energy of the south, inviting in the noonday sun. I call to the direction of love and creativity and energy, and welcome the spirit of action and growth. Comfort us and caress us, and when we're tired and old. I face to the west, which I won't do, but I'll kind of do. I call to the energy of the west, to the healing waters, and to the place where the veil is at the thinnest. To the evening and twilight energies, I call to the medicine, to the birthplace of emotion, to the gifts of healing. And I call to the north. I call to the energy of the north, the earth that sustains us, the home of night, wisdom, and the dark hour, to the spirit of winter and the energy of rest and renewal. Make us courageous when the cold wind falls upon us. Give us strength and endurance for everything that is harsh, everything that hurts, everything that makes us squint. When we talk about gifts of darkness, absence of light, how can darkness be a gift? Our Western society has a tendency to vilify darkness. We chase the light. In some cases, we even sit in front of light boxes to sustain our own moods, particularly in the deep throes of winter, just to get enough light to keep our moods in check. This was the case when my wife and I initially moved to England. We arrived in Cambridge at the beginning of September, just in time for the cold, the wet, the dark. It moved into November and December, where there was a chance of light from about 10 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if it wasn't raining, which it did 95% of the time. But it was the absence of light that would at times kind of create an otherworldly experience. Some of you may remember sodium street lamps. They give off sort of an orange glow and seem to just barely pierce the darkness. They appeared as small glowing beacons of light between the areas of darkness. They made me appreciate this lack of illumination that surrounded them, how powerful the dark was, how the light seemed to struggle just to get the smallest purchase. Even in the bustling metropolis of London, the darkness in the streets was almost palpable to me. But to me, it provided more of a sense of calm rather than foreboding, a respite of sorts against the moving tide of people, and provided some level of anonymity as well, which we all need once in a while. Getting up from the darkness, riding the train into work, riding the train home, in the darkness, it became a familiar routine, and one that was oddly cozy and depressing at the same time. And then walking through the winding streets home, stepping from light post to light post, I'm lost in thought. Having just disembarked from that long train ride home, I start a decompressing cycle. I embrace the silence that comes from the late hour, the darkness that surrounds me, seeming lost in thought with me. I decide to stop at our local. For those of you who don't know that, local is the local pub. Every neighborhood has at least one. I step in, I immediately feel the warmth of the fire, the smell of the beer, the laughter of the patrons. I peel off my layers of clothing, and yes, I'll have a pint or two. And then it's back out in the cold and the darkness, and the warm light welcome me home.
There's a moon out my window, and it's smiling at me. There's a moon out my window, and it's smiling at me as it sails through the night for the whole world to see. There's a moon out my window, and it's smiling at me. There are stars out my window, and they're twinkling bright. There are close ones and far ones that fade out of sight. I've tried to start counting, but I can't get it right. They're like billions of diamonds flung out in the night. In the morning, the stars are all gone, but instead, the sky's in the east and it's all orange and red. Then a beam of the sunlight lands right on my head, calling, wake up, it's another day, get out of bed. There's a moon in the daytime once in a while, and each time I see it, I just have to smile. It took a wrong turn in the night sky, I guess. Up there in the dark, why, the traffic's a mess. There's a moon out of my window, and it's smiling at me. There's a moon out my window, and it's smiling at me as it sails through the night for the whole world to see. There's a moon out my window, and it's smiling at me.
Good morning. I'm Terry Trendler. For those of you who haven't met me before, I'm the treasurer, and I am pleased to say that I was asked to share something with you because I'm pagan adjacent. This is a poem called Still Life at Dusk by Rosemary Watola Tromer. It happens surprisingly fast, the way your shadow leaves you. All day you've been linked by the light, but now that darkness gathers the world in a great black tide, your shadow leaves you to join the sea of all the other shadows. If you stand here long enough, you too will forget your lines and merge with all the tall grass and old trees, with the crows and the flooding river, all of these pieces of the world that daylight has broken into objects of singular loneliness. It happens surprisingly fast, that loss of your shadow. And standing in the field, you become the field. And standing in the night, you're gathered by night. Invisible birds sing to the memory of light, but then even those separate songs fade into the one big silence that always seems to be waiting. Each Sunday, you're welcomed into Throop, and for this 1 hour at least, you can set aside your tasks and your to-do lists. You can rest in the warmth of our community. We're able to gather on Sunday because of the many ways you support Throop, through your gifts of time, talent, and treasure. For those of you who are able to make a financial gift, there are 3 ways to do that this morning: online or text to give, and those options are in the order of service and also posted outside. But if you're here with us in the room or on the patio, you can place a gift in our donation box. Thank you for supporting our life together. Please join me in saying this response to the offering. It's in your order of service. We give thanks for the offering, for the ministries of the church in our community. We bless our offering with love and hope. And following that, we have a promise to our planet, also printed. As we admit, I'm on the wrong page. Oh, there's a prelude to this. As we embrace this time of year when darkness gathers the world in that great black tide, we pause and offer gratitude for our earth, who holds us gently through all the seasons of our lives. Now, the order of service has the words: as members of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. With hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to protect its sacred and scarce resources, we promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself.
When windows that are black and cold are lit anew with fires of gold, when dusk and quiet shall descend, and darkness come once more a friend, when wings pursue their proper flight and bring not terror but delight, when clouds in innocent again and hide no storms of deadly rain, and when the sky is swept of wars and keeps not gentle moon and stars, the peaceful sky, that harmless air, how sweet, the darkness there. Children of the earth, we have come to sing to each other, sister to brother, songs of our Mother Earth. Children of the earth, autumn soon will breathe her last breath, and quick will her death bear witness to Mother Earth. Children of the earth, can you feel the air getting cold as darkness takes hold and sleep covers Mother Earth? Children of the earth, we have to sit in the darkness, breathe in the silence, think of our Mother Earth.
Another gift of darkness is the gift of balance. And this gift comes to us from our very own Reverend Tara Landers. The yin and yang, two forces opposing each other, each containing a seed of the other. In yin and yang, we see that night becomes day, day becomes night, death becomes life, and life becomes death. The yin and yang symbol recalls the story of the beginning. In the beginning, there was darkness. Over the surface of the deep, the breath of life hovering. Over the waters, until the light was pulled out of the deep, and the light was separated from the darkness. Yet still connected like the yin and yang. We've lifted up these gifts of darkness today to remind us that as people of this earth, we need our time in the dark. We can use it wisely to replenish, renew, re-engage our souls for our work in the world. Whatever our work may be, both physical work and spiritual work. As seekers of truth and meaning, our task is not to dive headfirst into darkness and stay there. Our task is not to plunge into the light and stay there, but to hold both. In our personal stories of our own becoming, of our own unfolding, the times of the most dynamic growth in our lives, when we feel like we've stretched out and put back together again, comes when we find ourselves in darkness, yes, and when that is balanced by slips of light coming in. Wendell Berry wrote, "We travelers walking to the sun can't see ahead. But looking back, the very light that blinded us shows us the way we came, along with blessings now appear, risen as if in sightless to sight. And we, blessed, brightly lit, keep going forward. The blessed light that yet to us is dark."
Light of our hearts, fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered friends in reverence here to celebrate the longest night. Light of our heart, fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered friends in reverence here to celebrate the longest night. Gathered friends in reverence here to celebrate the longest night. light of our hearts' fires burning bright, we dream of the spring this winter's night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered friends in reverence, here we celebrate the longest night. Gathered friends in reverence, here to celebrate the longest night.
Although our chalice has been extinguished, we carry its light within us into these dark nights. May we recognize the flames within each other and use them to illuminate our shared paths together. Go now in peace, go now in love, go now in light.
Ring out wild bells to the wild, wild sky, the flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying, let the night ring out wild bells and let it die. Ring out wild bells, ring in the new, ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let it go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind. For those that hear we see no more. Ring out the feud of rich and pure. Ring in the common love of good. Ring out false pride in place and blood, the civic slander and the spite. Ring in the love of truth and light. Ring in the common love of good.
Thank you, everybody. And we are still at this point planning on doing our Christmas Eve service in the sanctuary. So stay tuned. And thanks again for coming today.
And if you are planning on singing in the choir for Christmas Eve service, please stick around for rehearsal afterwards.
Even better.